Welcome, 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 yogi, to your practice today. We are going to be focusing on working through the inner and the outer thighs and the back of the legs in this practice. So in Chinese medicine, that kind of translates into working through the kidney, bladder, liver, and gallbladder meridian channels that run through the outside of the legs, the inside of the legs, and the back of the legs. So that's what we're going to tackle that area as that whole area. It's kind of basically, let's just say, the lower half of the body in this practice. You're definitely going to need a strap, and you will need a couple of blocks for this practice as well. Of course, you are more than welcome to layer on anything else, whether that be blankets, bolsters, pillows, if you want an eye pillow or an eye mask for Shavasana at the end. We are going to have a little bit of a longer Shavasana practice tonight. So if that's something that you really enjoy, I encourage you to do the entire length of the Shavasana. Sometimes we like to skip out on that part of the practice. It is actually the most important part of our practice. That is really where all of the integration comes in. And you know what? Let's be frank here. Sometimes we fall asleep in Shavasana, and that's okay. It actually means that is what your nervous system and your body needs at that time. So just honor it and just go with the flow. Okay. We're going to start in deer pose. So I'm just going to turn to the side of my mat so it's a little bit easier for you to see. I'm going to grab your blocks and place them towards the top of your mat. And then you're going to take your legs out in front of you. And we're going to start by bringing the right foot to the inside of the thigh. So we're kind of making like a half of a letter L. And then you're going to bend that left leg back. And you're going to try and see if you can create the same kind of shape. So from this position, this is kind of what I look like. If I turn so that you can see from this view, I've kind of made two L's with my legs. Now, this back leg, yours might not come out perpendicular like mine, especially if you're really tight in the inner thigh. So you might have to bring your knee in a lot closer. That's okay. It's not about what it looks like. I want you to feel like you're leaning into your right side, almost like you would, topple over. And your left butt cheek is lifted off the mat, okay? Now this is where I love to use my blocks. I like to layer them in front of me, and then I just start to fold over onto them. So you might fold maybe a little bit. Maybe it might just be your forearms. Maybe some of you, it might just be your hands. You can adjust the blocks at whatever height you need. Some of you might even fold and maybe bring your forehead down onto a block. So there's lots of options here. I want you to choose what feels right in your body. I'm going to be a little bit more upright just so that you can hear me clearly. But I want you to do what your body feels it needs. Once you settle in, close your eyes. Can you draw your shoulders down a little further away from your ears? And maybe draw your elbows out a little wider so you broaden your upper back, creating a little bit more space to breathe into. Allow your jaw to soften. Create some space between the upper and lower molars inside your mouth. And start to work with your own breath, finding a smooth breath in to a smooth breath out. And this breath anchors you here in this moment. notice what's happening in the stillness. So can you maintain a smooth, deep breath? You're fully anchored here. Maybe there's sensations starting to come up. Maybe something deeper than that. Notice if part of you is trying to tense in a certain area in compensation of somewhere else. And then if it's possible, can you start to lengthen out the exhale? Now take one more really deep breath in through the nose, a long breath out. And then maybe you keep your eyes closed as you press into your palms and you slowly start to lift yourself up. Now, as you lift up, you might just take the props that were in front of you out to the way for a moment, and you might lean over a little more to that right side, and using your left hand, you might gently guide that left leg around, and maybe you just take your legs out in front and lean back into your hands. Another option is maybe just sitting cross-legged, the hands on your lap. Just finding something neutral to land into, to let your body rebound. Take 2 more deep breaths. And then take a moment to really lean back into your hands. Bring your legs out in front with knees bent. And you're just going to windshield wiper the legs just a couple of times. And then as your knees come back to center, we'll shift over to the other side. So this time we're going to take the left leg in front, making an L shape. We'll lean over to that left as we take the right knee and bend it back, finding our ideal deer pose. So it doesn't have to be completely square here, L shape to L shape. Your back knee might be in a lot closer. Some of you, it might be open a little more. And then find your blocks. And maybe you sit upright. Just depends on what's going on that side of your body. Maybe some of you will start to find a bit of a fold, or maybe a really deep fold, and you'll come all the way down. I want you to think of finding some space to move into, meaning you're not coming into the deepest edge that your body is capable of right now. You can back out a little bit to kind of gauge how far you think you can go, how deep you can go, and then work your way towards it. Once again, relax your shoulders. Create a hollow space between the upper and lower molars inside your mouth. If your forehead is on a block, feel free to rotate your head a little bit and just give your forehead a bit of a massage. That could be really nice. There's some really nice acupressure points along the brow line that can be stimulated as you press your forehead into the block. It doesn't have to be for long, just as whatever length of time feels good for you. Think of breathing into your rib cage, an expansion and a contraction in through the midsection of your body. It's quite beneficial, especially as we are working more through that liver and gallbladder channel. And the gallbladder channel runs through the outside of your side body. At any time, feel free to exhale through an open mouth if that feels more cleansing for you. Think long, slow, deep breaths. Even if you're taking a pause at the top of the inhale. Take 2 more deep breaths, breathing in as fully as you can, and breathing out as deeply as you can. And then taking your time, once again, you're going to slowly rise up. And as you do so, leaning a little bit more to the left side, take your right hand to gently guide your right leg back and around. And you can find, again, kind of that hammock position where you're just leaning back, legs out front, palms resting behind you. Or if you would prefer, you could take a cross-legged seated position. And keep the eyes closed. Continue the momentum with the breath. So it almost feels as if your nervous system hasn't seen a shift with that breath. It's been seamless. Now opening the eyes, we're going to slowly transition into half frog on our bellies. Now, if for some reason you'd prefer not to lie on your belly, I'll show you an alternative. You can come onto the back instead and do a variation of this pose. So bear with me here. If you're going to move into half frog, you're going to come down and meet me on your belly. You're going to shift a little bit over to the left, and you're going to bring your right knee up in line with your right hip. Okay? And then you're just going to come all the way down, hand to head, and chill here. Now, if this just doesn't work, you're coming onto your back instead, and you're going to bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh, like you're doing a half butterfly, okay? I'm doing this on the left just so that you can see clearly, but your right leg would be in and your left leg would be extended out. Okay? So either one of these options work beautifully. I want you to think of taking up some space with your arms, even if you're resting your head onto your palms. Think of drawing your elbows out and letting your chest relax. Now, if you want a little bit more of a dynamic layer of sensation in your body, that extended left leg, you're going to take it out on an angle. So it's almost like your leg is going outwards. So your toes are pointing outward more from your hip line. Okay. And then that right leg, if you want, some of you might start to straighten it, or maybe not. Maybe you'll keep it exactly where it is. But can you broaden through your shoulders so that you're creating a little bit more space in your upper body? And then breathe into it. And for these last few breaths, let's find a slightly longer exhale to the inhale. Even if that's only one count. And think of really breathing into that liver meridian channel on the inside of the leg. All the fascial and connective tissue layers. And if there's tension that you feel in the inner thigh, anything that feels sticky or tight, think of breathing into those spaces like you're unkinking a garden hose. And then after you take your next exhale, you're going to slowly release that right leg out so that it meets the left. And you'll just pause. If you're on your belly, you'll just pause, maybe bring one ear to the mat or the opposite ear to the mat, arms down by your sides. If you're on your back, just bring your arms towards your hip line. Allow your legs to soften. Let your body rebound. Just notice how long it takes before your body feels like it's back to neutral or to a different shape or a different feeling. Sometimes it's really quick. It's a matter of half a second or even a second. Sometimes it's a little longer. Now we'll slowly transition to the other side. So for those of you on your back, you're going to bring your left leg into the inner thigh, keeping your right leg extended. And if you're coming into half frog, this time it's the left knee that comes up in line with your left hip, or somewhere around that. Feel free to take the chest down, to spread your arms away from your body. Let your head be heavy. And come into your breath. And again, if you want to add a little bit more depth, you might start to take that right foot and pivot it out onto an angle. And if it's available to you, you can start to straighten the left leg. And then just allow yourself to start to breathe a little bit deeper and a little bit longer. Feel the breath travel all the way up your spine, all the way through that inner left leg, maybe even through the outer hip. Think of a free flowing garden hose making its way through the body. Take a deep breath in and follow that by a long breath out. And then you can slowly release your left leg and find a neutral position again, just letting your body rebound. Feel free to bring the opposite ear to the mat if you're on your back. Let your arms soften down by your sides. Take in 2 more deep breaths. And then for those of you that are on your belly, you have an option. You can either just turn yourself over onto your back, or you can lift yourself up and then start to make your way onto your back, where you're gonna grab one of your blocks on the lowest setting and you're gonna place it at the top of your mat. You're gonna have your strap close by, and then you'll have your other block also available to you. And then once you come down onto your back, your head is landing on the block. You're going to start with your knees bent, but take them so that they're hip width apart. And you're going to draw your shoulder blades apart. So as much of your back that can be flat. The neck is free. And take a deep breath in and a long breath out. And then you'll hug the left knee in towards the chest, finding an interlace of your hands either onto your shin, maybe the top of your knee. Some of you might feel better to tuck your hands under onto the hamstring. Whatever feels most comfortable for your upper body. Your right leg can stay bent. This would be most supporting for the back. You can start to walk it a little bit more forward, and maybe it's slightly bent, but not all the way straight. You can also use your block. And if you want to tuck your block underneath your right hamstring, you can. And then you can lengthen the leg out. Once again, think of drawing the shoulders down away from the ears, allowing the elbows to soften. Your right leg is heavy. Your eyes are drifting back into their sockets. As you start to really tune into the vibrancy of your breath, like it's playing through your ears. Feel free to pause at the top of your inhale. Maybe hold it in for a moment. And then finding a longer exhale breath out. And now slowly release your left foot back down to the floor. You're going to find your strap and bring the strap into your hands. And then you're going to hug that left knee back into your chest, and you're going to loop the strap around the ball or the arch of the foot, and you're going to begin to extend the leg up. Now I want you to keep a fairly strong yet soft bend in the back of the knee, so you're not hyperextending or locking in the joint. Your elbows are either quite bent or slightly straight but not locked as well. Allow the leg to sort of roll forwards and back a little bit, so towards you and then away from you, just a few times, just to stimulate the 3 channels of the hamstring in the back of the leg and that bladder meridian channel. And then eventually, when it feels right for you, you'll pause and you'll find stillness, holding the strap as you lengthen the leg. Can you soften the grip of your hands on the strap? Take a really deep breath in, an equally deep breath out. And then start to bend the left leg again, drawing the knee back into the chest. Release the strap. You can place it over to the right side. And then bring both of your feet on the mat, both knees bent. Pause here and let your body rebound. And now take the feet a little wider and allow for a moment of just windshield wipering the legs from side to side. And then come back through center and hug the knees into the chest for a moment and find a gentle little rock from side to side. As you come back through center, land your feet back onto the mat. This time we'll keep the left knee bent to start with, and we'll hug the right knee in towards the chest. And find that interlace wherever it's comfortable, on the shin, the top of the knee, or the hamstring. Allow the elbows to soften, the shoulder blades to part. And if it feels good here, extend your left leg out. Maybe support it with a block. And start to breathe some space into the right side of your body. Along the ribs, along the liver, along the gallbladder, through the inner thigh. Allow your breath to take up space in your body, sending it wherever it needs to go. slowly release the right leg down. Once again, you're going to find your strap and hug the knee back into the chest. Interlace the strap onto the ball of the arch of the foot. Start to extend the leg up. Find a comfortable position for your hands to land on the strap. And then for a moment, just bring the leg close in and then release it away. Just a few times. Maintain a really deep breath. And then eventually you find the stillness, allowing a micro bend in the back of the knee. Let your breath lengthen out, like you're lengthening out the back of that bladder meridian channel, the back of the leg. Take in one more full round of breath, going at your own pace. And then begin to release the knee back into the chest. Take the strap out. Pause for a moment, both knees bent. Let the feet go wide one more time and windshield wiper the knees from left to right, from right to left. As the knees come through center, you'll hug them back and towards the chest. One last time, find that gentle rock from side to side. And then as your knees come back through center again, this is where you're going to set up for our extended Shavasana. If you want to cover yourself up, you can leave the block underneath the head if you want, or you can take it out to the side. If you want to place something over your eyes, I encourage you to take up some space. So take your legs a little bit wider. Allow your arms to float away from your body. And once you fully settle in, take 2 rounds of deep, full breaths before you completely surrender and let go of it. There is nothing that you need to do here in this practice. Channels have been stimulated. Tension has been released. Emotions have softened. Mind is quiet. The body is still. Allow all of it to be soaked up. feel free to take even more time here in Shavasana, as long as you need. Have a beautiful rest of your day, yogi. Namaste.